Okay, now let us try to use this new APIs. For that, I will here quickly open the sidebar. We will start by enable the user to search for a location with this Ninja API. For that one, we will go into our components, location search, and here we will now adjust a little bit the template and the TypeScript. We firstly have to get our private open weather API service. We using again the inject function to get our weather data API service. Then we will adjust our template. We have here the weather location control, and based on that we will now adjust the options that the user have to select. At the moment, as you can see, if you click on this, you see like an empty option. The reason is that we at the moment here have a met option contained, which not showing anything. And that is what we will now change. Okay, first of all, we will make here a line above. We will make an filtered location options. That will be our signal that's storing our Ninja DTO city object. We will fill this with a signal that we will create. Important for that is that we using this form control that we currently have. The form control, let us quickly log over it, have a value changes. This one is again an observable as we had it earlier with this interval function, and this value changes give us an observable that allows to get informed about every change in the form control. We will use this as a base for our requests, which means we will put that into here, and as you can see, no problems in any way. But what we now do is we want to have the options that the request gave us as a response and show them in this options. What we now can do is we can say we use a pipe which allows us to do some stuff with this new value that comes every time the user just change something in the field. And we will quickly make like a filter that we can check if the new value is really not empty. Has to import that filter one. So what it now does is that it returns the value, the new input value, and filtering it by kind of answering if the new value that the user have typed is like not empty or is not null or undefined. And what we now can do is we can use switch map. That's like an approach that most of the developers should know if they using more often with AXJS. What we kind of want to do is that if you're searching for something and yeah, the user can just like change a value and that should abort the request, you most of the time go with switch map because it allows you to like start a request, and if the user while the request is running types something different, it would trigger a new request. Here we will go and use this API that we have injected and calling the get query cities with our value. I've not put it here with the new value. So what it says is that our type should be Ninja DTO city or undefined. We will adjust this here on the top. I think it should be an array. Yeah. Okay. Ready to learn Angular 19, 20, and 21. This course covers everything new in this latest versions. From hydration, event replay, resource API, signal forms, we cover it all. You will get a complete playground app showcasing all features. Plus, we will build a weather app from scratch to implement everything hands-on. Full source code for both projects included. Check the link in the description. The most important thing now is that if we like look in our application, it should already do something. If we search for B, for example, you can see that in this case it says an invalid key. I will quickly fix this. Okay, let us try it again. Now you can see that it made a request and it responded with 10 results. That's the parameter we have provided earlier with this limit 10. And in the results, you can see that it provides us latitude and longitude. What we now can do, like if you like searching, you see that it makes instantly a request. And that's not a good user behavior. What you can see here is this red request. And you can see that this request, other than this, get finished. And here's like the part of the switch map. Because the switch map kind of says if a new value comes in and the value reaches to the switch map, it aborted the old request in our way and starting a new one, and that leads to this aborting of a request. What we now has to do to improve the usability and the amount of requests that get made, we can use a debounce time. A debounce time do nothing else than like we're defining now a time while the user not doing something, like here for example a second. And if we now like search for bar, you see that after a second it made that request and returned with the 10 results. Okay, now we want to see that options in our UI. Because we made already a signal that allows us to do that, we make here a for loop with our signal, of course, again calling with brackets, and that's the location options, or one location option in that way here. And now we have this mat option that should be repeated. And in that one, we have like a value property. The value will be like what we are selecting. If we clicking on this will be in our way here like an dash and then option dot country. And that way it's your location option. And we will do the same for the visuals. And what we now should see is if I search bar, it's showing me now like the place or the location and the country. This, for example, is Barcelona in Spanish, in Spain. And yeah, there are some different matches here, and we can select it to, yeah, as you can see. Or we can start typing a new one and search for Chicago, US. Yeah, okay. But right now, if we're clicking on plus, nothing happens really. And we have to also adjust here the code to, yeah, just like doing something. For the moment, we will only have a local variable that saves our location if the user clicks on an option. For this, we will make here a selected city that will be a writable. Yeah, it's a signal. That's at the beginning undefined, and type-wise it is Ninja DTO or undefined. Okay. By the way, if you're using that toSignal, you can also provide here, as you can see, options. And here, for example, an initial value. If you want that the signal have an initial value or want to define the initial value, that could help you with this problem because, yeah, we're kind of defining the initial value as an array. Okay, this endian init we don't need. We need now like a function that allows us to select a city. Here we expect a Ninja DTO city, and this one like simply set our city, selected city to be the clicked one. Okay, now we go into here and we have this Mad icon add button. That's not currently the focus. We want firstly that if the user clicks here, it should select the city that we currently here. Location option. Yeah, selected city. Yeah, set selected city. Yeah. Okay. The next step would be that this add button here is disabled as long as the selected city is not defined, which means if you now look at the UI, it is disabled. And if I search for a location and selecting one, you see that this is now enabled. As next, we want to allow the user to add a city. We will do a quick in-between solution to see that everything works fine. For this, we make here selected city and get the selected city from our component. and want to lock this one here. So what we also want to prevent is if we're searching for bar and selecting one and click here, you see that the drop down opens again, and this shouldn't be the case. What we can do with that is that we're calling a function that comes with all click events. It's the mouse event, and if we calling mouse event dot stop propagation, it allows us to have stopped this behavior. We will now add this click event here, add city to weather forecast, and we have here to provide the event that comes with this click. So we have to save this, I guess, and then it should work. Yep. And if we now open the log and searching for bar, clicking on the first one, click on plus, you see it not opens, and we have the location data that the user have selected. In the next part, we will start trying to allow the user to add a card based on his selection, and I hope I will see you then.